Well, hello, everybody. Welcome into the Queen Sports Network. As always, I'm Mike Glennon, and I'm joined today by Sonni Dyer, head coach of the triathlon program here at Queen's University. And some big news for the triathlon program here over the last couple of days as German national Anabel Knoll has qualified for the German Olympic team heading to Tokyo this summer. There's another former Royal as well that is in the process in Teresa Zimonjanova. And Coach, first off, thanks so much for taking the time out to talk with us, especially after a pretty cool moment for the program.
Yeah, really a cool moment. Not for just for our program, but I mean, the sport of triathlon collegiately as an emerging sport, an NCAA emerging sport. When they get to, we're currently at 37 schools. When we get to 40, it becomes a championship sport.
Okay.
So Anabel represents the first NCAA collegiate female triathlete, varsity triathlete ever to have qualified for an Olympic Games, which is not just important for us as a program, but huge for our sport collegiately.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a momentous thing for her. I mean, of course, I'm sure she's getting all sorts of recognition from friends, family, and the like, but to have that under the belt as well and being the first ever in collegiate history to do that, that's a pretty cool thing to have.
Yeah. And it's interesting, we get into the details of how she qualified, but exactly, how we kind of, in many ways, it's ironic the role that we ended up playing given the COVID adjusted qualification process that Germany went through versus what they would do in a normal year. So,
sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that and kind of what she's had to go through over the last couple of years. I mean, because obviously it's not like you just start training for this 2 months in advance. And so, can you talk a little bit about Anabel when she was a triathlete for Queens and kind of what you saw in her? And I'm assuming you're probably not surprised by the fact that she was able to earn this spot.
Yeah, no, not surprised given her work ethic and talent. A little bit of background about Anabel. Her father at one point was one of the top coaches and Olympic developmental and U23 developmental coaches in Germany.
Wow.
He helped develop Jan Frodeno, who was Olympic gold medalist in triathlon. So, they know exactly what they're doing. She originally came to the United States and was running cross country at another school. And then when we began this entire process of varsity triathlon under the leadership of Sherry and Jeff here at Queens, I'm quite frankly, one of the pioneers in the country to kind of lead that movement for varsity women's triathlon. She ended up transferring into Queens in, I think it was her sophomore year or so. Okay. And so, it was, it was kind of a match because we could see that in terms of a, multidiscipline aspect of swim, bike, run, she had all the pieces there, all the pieces there. So the interesting thing about it is that, for the first time ever in Tokyo, in the sport of triathlon, mixed team relay will be an Olympic event. And what a mixed team relay is it's 2 men, 2 women. Every single leg is running a super sprint. So it's like a 250 to 300 meter swim. It's a 7 to 10K bike, and it's a 1,500 to 2,000 or 2,500 meter run. So it's a very short triathlon, and then each leg tags off to the next one. Interestingly, even though that's the first time that this will be an Olympic event in Tokyo, it has been an event at the Collegiate Club Nationals for years and years and years. And pre-COVID, in anticipation of the 2020 games, normally the order runs female, male, so that the male leg is always the anchor. Okay. Well, in 2019, they wanted to give the women one last chance to anchor before the Olympic year, which would forever change what order the mixed team relay runs in because it would follow the Olympic format. Therefore, in 2019, it went male, female, and Anabel was our anchor leg on our national championship team in 2019.
That's amazing.
And basically in a 17-minute and 40-second race, she put over a minute and a half on the remainder of the field. Now, to put that in track and field terms, like a 5K is about that long. Sure. So imagine a female Division II athlete beating all the D2 and D1 athletes in the country by a minute and a half over the course of 5K. I knew right then and right there. In terms of in terms of a sprint distance time or super sprint distance time trial format, she is, something extremely special.
Well,
so flash forward to the point where the German
sure.
Federation is now qualifying athletes. They've got an eye on mixed team relay. So they set up their Olympic qualification process to do basically a super sprint time trial. And of course, who wins their Olympic trials in the super sprint time trial format? Anabel Knoll.
Absolutely. Well, I'll be honest with you, I'm tired just listening to you describe what she has to go through, but especially to do it in that kind of time and be able to shave that kind of time off, that's just impressive. I don't think does it justice just to say that much. And, and it's cool because, a part of that notice, we saw yesterday was now she gets to do it with a Queens alum as well in Marius. So, it's kind of a cool moment all in all for Queens in general, but especially for her and these two young folks that have just put so much time and effort into what they do, and to see it pay off like this it just has to be a special moment for them.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, there's a reason that those Olympic rings hang in our pool.
Yeah.
There's a reason that Jeff Dugdale continuously, through his leadership, speaks about Olympians made here.
Mm-hmm.
All that we are doing in triathlon is following in the footsteps of what they've done in swimming before us. I mean, quite honestly, I have an inbuilt mentor, and we have an inbuilt program. They've won 12 national titles. We've won 7. I don't know that we'll ever catch them, but we're getting a lot of success trying.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, you guys had another successful year this year. Of course, no actual finality to it, I guess, in terms of national title, but undefeated in the spring season. So, I would say you guys are doing something right in the triathlon program. So, can you talk a little bit more, especially in the COVID time, kind of, what it's like to train for something like this? Because obviously, what she has to do during the Olympic qualifications itself, but how do you train for something like that? And how hard has she trained in her career?
Yeah, the life of a triathlete can be a lonely existence anyway. So in some ways, COVID doesn't change that. It actually facilitates that. The fact that more people are getting out on bikes, the fact that more people are getting outside and getting in nature, those are all the things that really don't change with COVID. The things that do change with COVID is that a lot of pool closures for the last year.
Fair enough.
A lot of people didn't get to swim in public facilities. Therefore, a lot of triathletes ended up kind of going to open water and doing open water swims, or just having to use like some strength training or a swim bench or something like that. So that's been an adjustment. No events, not a lot of races for a long period of time. And particularly races that were allowing elite level international triathletes to gain what's called ITU points, which put them in a position to race in Olympic trials. So, so it's been challenging in many ways. Fortunately for Anabel, and one of the biggest assets that she has, in addition to being a specialist, if you will, at mixed team relay, is her boyfriend also was one of the athletes on our team, and he himself, I think, finished 4th at individually at our men's national title race in 2019. Also, that's our training partner. So
not bad.
Yeah. So I say that to say, with all seriousness, as much credit goes to Max as it does even here to Anabel, because that whole semblance and saying that it really takes a village, it truly does. You know? It's not just a function of the athlete themselves, but also their support network.
Sure. And I know I've spoken to Ollie Porter before in terms of kind of, what it's like. And he said the same thing of, yes, it is very a mentally grueling thing individually, but to have the kind of support system that he has at Queens, and obviously to have a training partner like Anabel has, that's a pretty cool thing to have, especially this day and age, and especially with the COVID stuff going on. To have that access is pretty neat. Can you just give a breakdown of kind of, is it in open water that they'll swim at the Olympics, or do they go to a pool, or how does all that work?
Yeah, they'll swim in an open water environment. Based off of water temperature, it will either be wetsuit legal or not. But they'll hit buoys. There will be a start line and a grid where they'll start. So that generally means that for the first 50 or 100 meters, there's a lot of contact, especially in mixed team relay, because, we're not talking about a 1,500 meter swim. You're talking about a 250 to 300 meter swim. So positioning and contact is a big part of it when you've got, 60, 70 people that are funneling to one buoy turn 50 meters away or 100 meters away,
Sure.
So a lot of tactics involved with drafting in the water and open water swimming as well.
I was going to ask you in terms of going from, when you're used to doing the kind of the long form version of it and then having to go to that mentality of, okay, this is shorter, but almost a little bit more pressure at stake. And of course, the Olympic level is always more pressure. But that being said, kind of mentality wise, how do you switch up on that and really focus on those short bursts?
Well, each leg is going to be anywhere from 14 to 18 minutes or so. Okay. And it's a triathlon in a 15-minute-ish period, and then you're tagging the next leg. So what a lot of the national teams will be doing is sequencing their legs very, very strategically so that they use the best assets of each leg based off of what scenarios may happen at that point in the race. We do the exact same thing collegiately. You want to put your best swimmers at the front leg of the race so that you get out and you're either in the lead group or in the lead, and then you're generally closing with some of your fastest runners. Because what happens if in the last 800 meters there's 5 people that are shoulder to shoulder? You kind of need that male 4-minute miler to close.
Fair enough. Yeah, I get what you're saying, and kind of just looking at that Olympic stage and what it means. Obviously, she has some good training because she has competed at the highest levels collegiately over the last few years. And, now she's moved on and has apparently gotten even better and kind of, moved all and continue to kind of put all in. So it's a neat little transition. And then, staying in the European countries, moving over to the Czech Republic, you have another young lady that is in the process of qualifying through the Czech Republic. And of course, that's Teresa Zimajanova. Can you talk a little bit about her? And I know you said she's a little bit farther out in the process in terms of, or at least beginning stages of it, but kind of what has to look forward to over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so it's interesting because each country they have the ability to choose their own qualification process. In the United States, we use some discretionary picks. In some countries, they just use auto qualifiers. They get to choose whether that race is done in their country or if they're going to send their athletes to like a big World Cup and see who gets, top 3 at that World Cup and things like that. So quite honestly, if you would have told me that Anabel would have qualified before Teresa, that would have surprised me a little bit because Germany is a very, very, very tough country to qualify for.
Okay. All right.
Not the Czech Republic is equally, they're a tough country to qualify for too. My sense is that the Czech Republic, they sent a team to Portugal last weekend and they had to get top 3 in a mixed team relay World Cup. They got 9th, therefore they did not auto qualify. They may have some more opportunities to do that.
Gotcha.
Teresa is routinely ranked anywhere among the Czech women in, anywhere from their 2nd to their 4th selection. They have one really good, outstanding Czech female who's been a long-time pro. They may as a country qualify for 2 slots versus 3. That impacts whether there's a slot available. There's any number of factors that are still in play between now, May, June, July here,
And I know they were teammates, both Anabel and Teresa were teammates. And how cool would that be to see each other on that stage and I guess competing against each other at that point, but at the same time?
Yeah, they were great teammates. The thing is, and there, like on all teams, there are athletes that are competitive with one another, and that's to be expected. They're champions, so they should be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, too, they were very collaborative. They always put team first. We won national championships because of that, and they're just very good human beings. Both of them, just very good. Both of them, excellent students, phenomenal students. Both of them, leaders on our team. And just good people, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's really fun to watch.
Well, again, I'm excited for them. I'm excited for the triathlon program here at Queens. And you guys have done some incredible things in a very short amount of time. And of course, you guys aren't planning to cease that anytime soon. So, Coach, I appreciate you carving some time out and talking with us. And of course, we wish the best of luck to Anabel and Teresa as well as they continue with the qualification process and on in to the games in Tokyo.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Go Royals.
Absolutely. Go Royals. Well, that'll do it for us here on the Queen Sports Network. Make sure you come back and join us on our YouTube page for this and a whole lot more. And as always, go Royals.